Bismillah. This is a story about the Kandahar giants and a description of what goes on in Area 51 and all the details and policy. This story is for entertainment purposes only, therefore I cannot say it is legit, but it's up to you to decide either way. Continue listening. There's an alleged leaked description of what's inside Area 51, but this story contains, not to make him look bad, but if you don't like Donald Trump, then just have a laugh at him and what he did. Allegedly. So why did Donald Trump, because he ate too many beans, drop two bombs, mother of all bombs, Moab bombs, on the mountains of Afghanistan? I repeat, why did Donald Trump drop two Moab bombs, which are the largest non-nuclear bombs, on the mountains of Afghanistan, if you recall that? Yes. Giant bombs to seal in giant people. In 2017, Trump was informed, "Sir, you now have the right to know, as Commander-in-Chief, the truth, sir, if you can handle it. The truth about who killed JFK, the truth about this, the truth about the Honeyman State, the truth about everything you want to know." By the African novel by Richard Allen, the action novel on the whereabouts and location of the True Cross and many interesting things, won't be out till after Christmas. So it was the high-ranking commander of the army displayed to him so many cards, large, plastic, colourful picture playing cards with information on. This high-ranking American Army commander, we'll call him Commander, he displayed the cards to Donald Trump. These were large cards, much like a pack of playing cards. And in front of his hands, he was displayed in front of him all a list of these great colourful playing cards, and he had to select one on which cards he liked. Each playing card had a picture on it and a phrase. You may have seen the Illuminati playing cards before. These were slightly different playing cards. As you know, when anyone becomes president, they are allowed access to things and knowledge that other people may not be allowed so readily access to. The playing cards that were displayed to Donald Trump, some of them had colourful pictures of red aliens, green aliens on them, and other machines, and some had pictures of Sasquatch. Bear with me, he put back that card and looked at some of the other cards. Some, I don't want to surprise you, but some of the cards, though I don't know if I believe personally in Bigfoot or not, in Sasquatch or not, I'm not sure if I do believe in Sasquatch or not, but on one of the cards, allegedly, and I'm only a reporter, on one of the cards, for the story, on one of the cards was a picture of a Sasquatch. And another of the cards was a picture of a spirit thing. And another of the cards was the word witches and Bohemian Grove. Some of the cards said Halloween on them. One of the cards said instant creation, Mandela effects. Other of the cards said various different things on them, and they each had a picture on the cards. These were oversized playing cards, which the high-ranking American commander displayed to Donald Trump. But then Trump picked up this one card which said on it in large letters, "Giants, a tribe." And what brought this particular card to his presidential attention was that it explained on the card, on the other side of the card, this is not my particular belief, but this is what it was said to have said on the card, that the Taliban and ISIS was an excuse to destabilize the underground catacombs and harems of large warrior giants that span hundreds of miles in large underground caverns in a tribe of giants. And then it listed the name of places where the most savage ones were. And it listed Kandahar on the card. Trump selected this card. He could have readily, just as easily picked another card. He could have picked the Joker card. He could have picked the card with the grey aliens on it and the picture of the triangle UFO. He could have picked any other card. But the first card he picked out, according to my information, which may not be true, but that's for you to decide, is that he picked out the card with the picture of the giant on it. The giant. And this is the story of how the giant of Kandahar came to Area 51. Trump said, "This is an urgent priority of national security. We won't have any scoundrel giants. Not in my country. Not even near it. Let's see who these giants really are." Some of the cards, playing cards, oversized playing cards, some of them read, Lands beyond the ice wall, Antarctica. And some of them Donald Trump initially totally dismissed, and he picked up first the card on giants. For he, being a Christian, was very interested in all David and Goliath things. So Donald, being Donald, said, "Right, what have we got? Show me something." So they flew him to nearby New Mexico, Area 51, where they showed him both dead and alive. Well, where they showed him a dead giant, apparently, underground. In Area 51, if any of you has gone there by any means, underground facilities are quite wide and varied. And apparently they were keeping this dead Kandahar giant, which they had brought back from Kandahar to America via large helicopter, chopper, get to the chopper. They had kept it for study. Allegedly, he saw things that usually only presidents and high-ranking peoples are allowed to see. Eye to eye. He was sterilized in a decontamination chamber in Area 51. When he arrived there in his plane and with his staff and security agents, Trump was taken down just like in the movie Men in Black. He was taken down in a lift that went, when you put the right combination of the code into the lift, it takes you down about 50 floors to Area 51. And after being decontaminated and apparently complaining slightly about that, he swanned in with his chin held high, with his swagger walk. You know how Trump has this swagger walk. He thinks he's like a billionaire or something, only because his dad was rich and his dad had a lot of gold. But he was then introduced, and he was shown a monorail, and he was asked if he would like to walk around the vicinity or what he would like to see. And he basically said, I've come here to see the freak show." Now at Area 51, Trump said, "Show them no mercy and end their reign of terror once and for all. I want to see this giant from Kandahar. Here, I've come all the way to Area 51 to see what it's all about. So I won't be walking. I've just finished my McDonald's Big Mac, 2 of them. I'm carrying my milkshake round. I haven't got laid in a month. So I'll be going on the monorail. Show me what I have to see." The top scientists, some of them I shouldn't tell you worked for Germany, were Nazis in World War II. I shouldn't have said that. Some of the top American scientists in Area 51, they looked at each other in their white long coats with their scientific badges on, and they said, basically, the leader of them said to Trump, yes, sir. come this way, please." And they escorted him onto the monorail, which is a type of device that takes you round like a small train on a rail. Monorail. Mono meaning one, rail meaning rail. As Homer Simpson would describe a monorail. Deep down, he had come to see this freak show. Come to see the freak show. It's very much like watching a bodybuilding contest. He just wanted to see the giant. That's all he really wanted. He wanted to see his enemy face to face. So he got into the monorail, and he saw a lot. It is said that upon slowly going past a grey alien, by now the monorail had been started up, making that electronic noise. And he could see a bunch of top scientists working on a grey alien. There it was, all slimy and such, on a metal table. He acted cool and hard, and he gave it little attention. He gave it a good look, actually. He looked at this alien, and he said, and Trump allegedly said, when he saw the grey alien on the table, "Ooh, you need to eat something." Because its body was very, very skinny. But then again, it was an alien. The aliens didn't seem to bother him. He inquired on the tour, in the underground on the tour in Area 51. "What's our highest threats? What danger is there still ahead? I've got my card here. It says there are giants on my playing card. Can we see one? The dead one from Kandahar?" So they looked at the picture they had been given, the declassified picture on the playing card, the large playing card, and they said, Mr. President, prepare yourself. We're about to enter the giant facility." Accompanying the Donald on the monorail in the underground facility of Area 51 was a high-ranking American personnel, which I will call Commander. The commander said to Trump, "Sir, please don't act like a child here. Be professional, be presidential for once. Sir, what you're about to see actually took my breath away. So please wear a seatbelt and act sensible." Trump said, "Seatbelts are for losers." And anyway, the commander of the army, he helped Donald Trump put his seatbelt on his monorail, even though it travels very, very slowly, this monorail. And so the journey had begun. The monorail was only traveling about 1 mile an hour, if that, and it was an electric monorail, making the humming electric sound. And all around were people working in lab coats and doing very, very professional studies on aliens, and they had all kinds of strange equipment and all strange types of machinery and things in the underground facility, large underground facility of Area 51. Donald uttered, "David and Goliath. Ho ho, Goliath, you're gonna fail, 'cause David's gonna shoot you with his thing." Oh yeah. He breathed in through his stomach, his eyes closed. Trump's stomach was going out and sticking out and in as he breathed. As he and the other people and the scientists, the top scientists who were accompanying him on the monorail, on this very monorail right now in Area 51, they had been taught and reminded each other to breathe from their stomachs, to prepare themselves for what they were about to see. It was like a scene. It was like a scene from Jurassic Park. You know, the one where Sam Neill and Lauren Dern, the paleontologists, first see the huge Cretaceous green leaves with all the red and such colours on the leaves, massive leaves from the Cretaceous period, and then slowly taking the glasses off when they eventually see the Brontosaurus, the massive vegetarian. Well, nothing quite prepared them for this. But they weren't here. Here, I want you to believe, I want you to just imagine, just feel yourself in this monorail, on the monorail now with Trump and with the scientists in Area 51, and just pretend, close your eyes and pretend that you are on the monorail now, deep down in Area 51, and the things that you will see and hear, and you're obviously hearing the electric monorail travel at about less than 1 mile an hour, making that electric humming sound. And Trump, and just imagine seeing in front of you, sat in front of you on the monorail, Trump and his yellow mop hair, well groomed of course, him slurping on his vanilla milkshake, holding his card, and the scientists in the white robes and the commanding army, the high-ranking USA Army commander, sat beside Trump, and you're in that monorail right now. Just imagine this. Sir, can you please stop tapping on the monorail? Safety guard. Maybe it was nerves, or being nervous. Well, nothing prepares you for what the eyes are about to look on. For nothing prepared them for what the eyes looked upon. There it was, as the monorail edged us further closer and closer still, at less than 1 mile an hour. We came into a large room with scientists in lab coats, working with strange machines, and a strange gear upon the thing's head. There it was. I saw Trump's head turn and look at this thing from the comfort of his monorail carriage. There it was on a large metal table, with scientists around it. Everyone on the monorail was almost silent in awe, just feeling a tingling on the hairs on their forearms, just standing up. Just to see this thing, just feeling their own heart pump, relaxing factor and adrenaline through the widening veins. After a pause, Trump, being a little silly, said, "Is that it? It's dead, right? Right?" The reply he got was bone-chilling. The federal scientist, an army general, escorting Trump, looked at each other. The top-level scientist, in his white overall, adjusted his access badge and said, "Yes, sir, that one is dead. But we have others that we keep alive behind 3 inches of bulletproof glass for analysis, sir. It's safe to look at this one." Then Trump turned his head to his army general, who continued the dialogue by saying, the army general said, "We have found the beehive, sir. A large colony." Sorry, sir, not Billy Connolly. A large colony. "We have found the beehive, sir." "What's that? Bees?" "No, sir. It's a large colony of people. Giant people. How big? This racer between 12 and 15 foot tall. Oh my god. It's bigger than Andre the Giant, that, isn't it? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. Okay, tell me more. Tell me everything I need to know. Show me, show me. I want pictures. I want to see it. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'm getting off this thing. Stop the monorail. Stop it. Stop it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stop the monorail. Stop the monorail. Sir, as they walked closer, the monorail stopped, and as they walked closer, walking closer to this big, huge body upon a metal table with scientists and things and equipment around it. It looked almost alive, but it was laying there as a huge mass. The army commander said to Trump in so many words, "Sir, they are a savage race of red-headed giants in the basin of Afghanistan." Trump wasn't so silly. He replied, "So that's why we're there. So that's why we've gone to Afghanistan, is it really?" And the commanding army commander nodded succinctly, and they walked on the floor, all of them closer and closer to this formidable, huge thing, approximately 14 foot tall, with thick red beard, red like fire, and thick long hair, longer than that of a woman. The hair like the hair of a red horse. But this thing was a big person, massive ribcage, massive. They didn't walk towards this thing, but they're more like they shuffled. They forced themselves to go closer to this huge thing, huge person thing. Definitely a person. And Trump was keeping his distance, and he hid behind the army commander and the scientists, saying, "Is it safe? Are you sure it's safe?" And the top scientist turned to Trump in his white overalls and said, "Sir, it's perfectly safe." Okay. You first. You go to it first. I want to see you touch it. Let me see you touch it. That's what I say to Melania. Me. If she was here, she'd touch it. She'd touch it if she was here. She's not scared of anything. I bought her from a cheap European country. The American Army Commander General. The general was very solemn, and he and they stood there silently, having a real good look and assessing this thing. Just stood. And the more they stood there assessing this thing, the closer they got. Though they were wary of it, the general informed him, as we were stood there around besides this huge body, bigger than a walrus, but a man. The general said, "We couldn't tell the public on TV that we had a giant issue, so we told them it was ISIS or the Taliban. But now you know, sir." Trump patted him on the back. Trump put his little right hand. After so many moments and minutes stood there timelessly, Trump got up the courage to get close enough to the giant, who was led on this huge metal plate table. Trump put his little right hand on the giant's right cheek, and with his little left hand He opened the giant's right eyelid. People gulped. All of us stood around, we gulped, all the other scientists. Seeing the colour and shine of this large human eye looking back. And the colour of his iris was green and speckled, and his thick red hair, and his beard was thick and red. Long hair to his shoulders and beyond. His shoulders so wide and big, barrel-chested, this thing was like a perfect athlete. Savage look and savage appearance, a face and a head so big. It was truly biblical in proportions. Trump, quite solemn now, said to the scientist, to one of the top scientists there in Area 51, what do we know? What do we know about these giants? Upon which he was told, as the scientist held a clipboard, the scientist said, they are a very savage and unyielding race, incredibly fast. They use primitive weapons and weaponry. They are savages. Their brains are as evolved as our own, and they are highly dangerous and ruthless, using only primitive weaponry, primitive things. They are genetically 100% human, but on a savagery and on a scale that you can see. Trump was feeling the giant and its clothes and its primitive hides that were knitted together, and running his fingers through its red, thick, illustrious beard and hair, touching its white skin, feeling it. Oh my God. Trump said, whilst feeling it, feeling the hair on the giant and touching its chest and things, Trump said, "We don't have any captured alive. Surely not. Don't tell me we do." The scientist turned towards Trump, stood beside this huge giant, this 14-foot tall giant, and he said, in a solemn manner, "Sir, we just showed you the first one to acclimatize you to Jesse." Trump took his two hands and held the scientist's two hands and said, "You mean you've got one that's alive down here?" And he held eye contact with the scientists, who nodded in agreement. Trump, in this moment of solace, Trump took his two hands and lifted the giant's one arm. He attempted to lift this stationary giant's one arm with Trump's two hands. And the one arm of this savage, heavy giant was so heavy The tramp struggled to lift its one arm, and Tramp said, "Ooh, God, that's heavy. Oh, Golly, I bet he eats a lot. And I thought Andre the Giant was big, but I've got to see his junk. Show me his size." The scientists then chatted to each other and came to a conclusion and nodded and said, "Are you ready, sir, to see the next one?" Trump said, "If you like," and he gave a typical Trump thumbs up because he liked to see the very next one. Then he sat back in the comfy monorail seat along with his army general and elite scientists. And now, as we sit back in the monorail with them, our journey continues. The electric hum made as the monorail proceeded, and we all looked back on the giant, massive, whale-like body of this huge person from Kandahar, which had been killed and brought back here by helicopter, here down in the depths of Area 51, and we looked back at it as our monorail journey continued. Looking back on the equipment, strange glowing equipment and strange things, and other white coat scientists around the giant body. Just seeing all the white coat scientists stood around the giant. There were so many of them for one giant, and that's how you knew how big it really was. Just thinking out loud, that thing's legs were bigger than me. It was more than twice my size. My God, save us all. I can't negotiate with these things. There's no art of the deal. Oh, there's no deal for these things. I've had enough of them. Commander, tell me, how many of these things do you think there are in Kandahar? Kandahar, how many do you think there are? Rough estimation. Well, sir, we have ultrasound many of the caverns in them areas, and they stretch for hundreds, if not thousands of miles. So there could be as many as over 100,000, sir. And they're finding their way out around Kandahar, and all our warfare has obviously made a way for them. Sir, what do you suggest? The shock. We were going down a long shaft. The monorail was going only at about 1 mile an hour. All of us had shivers down our spines, and we went into a long shaft. Looking back, we saw the last glimpse of them scientists, with that massive, long, 14-foot, red-haired Kandahar giant that had been killed and flew over to Area 51. And, however, we looked forward now, as we left the big room that it was in, and our monorail took us slowly down into a long shaft with concrete walls beside us. The concrete walls were 5 meters roughly thick besides the monorail. Just a shaft. We went into the darkness, moving slowly and steadily in the monorail into the darkness, with just wiring and pipes above our heads. The shaft was deliberately narrow and small enough for us and the monorail to go down it into this dark shaft. But it was not big enough for any giant to escape through, and that may have been the purpose of this. Then the scientist, in the darkness of the shaft on the monorail, the scientist, the head one, took his clearance badge and scanned it, whereon some white whereupon some white smoke puffed out from a pipe, and in front of them was a locked, bulletproof glass door, which was stopping the monorail from moving forwards. Upon showing his clearance pass, a noise made boop 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 boop, and the glass bulletproof door, which opened in a particular way, allowed for the monorail to continue forwards into the narrow and darkening dark shaft. There was no light at the end of this tunnel that we were now deeply in. We were definitely shafted. With thick concrete walls all about us, slowly the monorail moved forward, roughly about 1 mile per hour. Just slow enough for us to all think, and just to think, as each one of us had thought, what if that giant, the red-headed one, more than twice the size of a man, his legs alone were 7 foot tall. Just to see and feel the thickness of them. Imagine if that thing was alive. We would stand no chance unarmed. No chance whatsoever. We would be flung around like rag dolls. And so, it stricken us to think that any of these could be alive. And so, we went further and further down this long, narrow tunnel on the monorail. You could even touch the thick, thick concrete walls either side of the monorail. Thus, this was our predicament. This is where we found ourselves, and this is where we are, and this is where we physically are. I wished it had just been a dream. There was no reverse for this monorail. We had to go forwards, and forwards we were going ever so slowly, and the suspense was killing us almost. And so Trump ran his finger on the concrete wall, feeling it as it was so close to the monorail, and I did the same, feeling the concrete as we were going forward. It was like something from Disneyland. And we got forward, slowly moving slowly along the single track, till the front of the monorail crept slightly forwards and went besides a permanent, fixed, 3-inch thick, bulletproof glass screen. This viewing screen was long, and it was in front of us. The monorail paused, and the handbrake was on. Most of the monorail and everyone sat here within the monorail carriage was getting mentally prepared and calm and cool and collected. Calm by looking at the pipes on the concrete ceiling above, and we had been instructed to do deep breathing, holding the breath and slowly inhaling for 4 seconds, then holding the breath, and then slowly and controlledly releasing the breath from our stomachs for 4 seconds or more. Breathing correctly into our stomachs so our stomachs stuck out, then holding the breath to a certain time, then releasing the breath from our stomachs so our stomachs went inwards and contracted. This was a preparation method to calm us down, to prepare our eyes and to prepare our eyeballs and our eyes and our bodies for the equilibrium that we were not prepared to see. Thus, we were nervous, and we didn't want to do this, but to be men, we had to face our fears and go towards our fears, or our fears would remain. So we breathed out for 4 seconds or more. At this point, we had prepared ourselves as much as we would ever be prepared. And at either side of the monorail, at this point, I reached my hands out and I could feel the concrete with the flat palms of my hands were just meters of solid concrete, and only the tip of the front of the monorail could be seen poking out beyond our cocoon of concrete. And if the giant was looking, would only be able to see the front point part of the monorail sticking out, if it was looking. Now, Trump here put his hand on the scientist's knee and squeezed, and he gripped the hand of the army general and wouldn't let go. They listened and listened. Here in this chamber, surrounded by concrete, secure chamber, we listened. And we heard, in the monorail, we each held each other, and slowly we proceeded, hoping not to make too much noise, as to not wake the giant. And though our monorail at the minute was stationary and out of sight, with the concrete to our left and to our right, we heard something down below, something moving, something was stirring and moving, just faintly. And from the depths of down below we heard some faint sounds. The scientists reassured Trump, "Sir, it is quite safe. I myself have been to this viewing point many times. We are high up here. His quarters are several meters below, so if anything, we will be looking down on the specimen. He sleeps a lot of the time, but if it tries to intimidate you, sir, that's all it is." Trump exhaled. Trump whispered, whilst hugging the man, "Proceed slowly to this illegal alien, Kandahar giant. I just hope he's not stood there looking at us with his big eyeball through the glass, eye to eye. I can't see that." Trump continued his discernment. I can't see him if he's stood up against the glass with his massive head and massive body, with just 3 inches of glass between me and him. What if he stood up at eye level and he's looking right at us with his big beady eye? I can't have that. Make sure that's not the case. It is only 3 inches of glass, isn't it? Is that safe? Will that be safe? Here in the top scientist in the area down in the depths of Area 51 reassured Donald Trump by saying, "Sir, 3 inches is more than enough for me. A killer whale can't penetrate 3 inches. It will be fine, sir. I've done this many times before, sir. You're safe with us, sir." "Proceed. Proceed if we have to." By now the army general's hand was turning white as Trump was still squeezing it, and he was still squeezing the knee of the top scientist. And there we were, and a noise came from the concrete chamber below, a long drawn-out noise. There at this point should have been some epic music, like Jurassic Park music. To see this spectacle alive, the monorail made its electric hum as it edged creepily forwards towards the glass, towards the viewing platform. It hummed. The electric monorail hummed as it went forward quietly. Edging slowly forward. at less than 1 mile an hour. Trump was probably thinking, how is it? How will it be on the left side of the monorail? And on the left side of the monorail, as we went forwards, was the long, lengthy, 3-inch thick, bulletproof glass viewing platform. And it was very long, and we would be looking down or straight at the giant. If it was stood up, it may almost be at eye level to us. You have to feel the fear as if you were there now, experiencing this. And Trump closed his eyes. He had closed his eyes, and the monorail stopped right outside. The glass, 3-inch thick glass, was just to the left of the monorail. Some noise, prolonged slight movement noise, could be heard even beyond the 3 inches of thick bulletproof glass. Some epic movement slowly vibrated through the thick glass. The scientist said reassuringly, "It's perfectly safe." Trump opened his eyes. Open your eyes to see the giant. Half expecting a huge, massive eye to be blinking and moving at him. But at first he saw nothing. He then looked down and down, leaning forward and to the left out of our carriage, to see this mass like a whale with legs and hair on them legs, thick wide knees, led down on copious mattresses with 10 duvets knitted together for its blanket. It turned. Was it motionless? Was it laying there? Was it asleep down there? We were looking, and we felt safe and safer to have all the things that we desired. That we have them, and we've received them. But then it turned over on its side, as if turning in its sleep. And at first it was facing away from us, all the way down there, all the way. And when it turned over, as if turning in its sleep, then its eyes were shut. Then all at once, had a very Roman nose, and all at once its hair was all red, and all at once it opens its eyelid, and its eye is the green. And we're looking down at this from the viewing platform. We're up above, and we're gulping, and its head was stationary, its big skull and body was stationary, and its eye moved in its skull, and its skull moved, and its skull moved not. And it made eye contact with us, and it snarled, and it looked every meter the savage. Trump got shivers down his spine. Trump got up, now feeling more confident, after really realizing how high up we were, after confronting and going forward. You have confronted your fears, and they have vanished. And behold, Trump got up and pressed his hands against the glass, breathing on the glass. He had to get a better look at this thing laying down there on so many mattresses. This thing snarled. It snarled like an animal, and this thing had biblical proportions. And it slowly took the blankets and duvets that were knitted together, 10 of them, off it. To see its proportions were not fat at all sheer muscle, firm and lean, all biblical in proportion, no fat whatsoever. This thing was like a machine, but it was a man. It slowly got up. Trump was pressing his hands against the glass, looking forward and pressing his forehead upon the glass. And this thing was there down below. And it was moving, keeping its eye on him. And here we were in the monorail. And it was intense. This thing arose from its sleep and slumber. And upon the glass were stains before. At this time, Trump confessed why he wanted to become the president. He said, Here we are, eye to eye, man versus giant, some kind of thing you are. The reason why. And then Trump turned his head towards his men and said, whilst keeping one eye on the giant, he said, the reason why I wanted to become a president. It's always the same reason. That's why anyone wants to become the president. Because the wife promises more head. What else do we have to do? He got up, this giant got up, and he got to his haunches. Trump adjusted his red tie, because he likes to wear a red tie. But this time it was like a red tie to a bull. The thing, he got up until it was led on its big forearm. And then it bent its knees, showing its self. And its bigness of itself and its erectness. And then it got up and straightened its arm out, resting its arm on the floor with its knees bent. And it looked up at Trump, looking up at me. And its bigness, the bigness of the bones, the bigness of the head, the bigness of the hands, the fingers were massive. The legs were so long, incredibly long legs. 6 foot long legs or more. And he got to his knees. And then slowly, ever so slowly and intimidatingly, it stood up. Stood up to about 12 foot tall. It was still far down below us. And then it did this thing where it slowly raised its height even more. Till it was 15 foot tall. And to see this thing just stood there, mere meters from us. And he was looking slightly up at the glass, the high glass window, and we were on the other side. It was stood there, looking at us, looking up at us, and then put its hands up and its elbows bent, its forearms outstretched and long, its hands bigger than a basketball. Its palms were bigger than a basketball, fingers outstretched, fingers bigger than sausages, German sausages. And it looked at us, and it grinned at us, showing us its teeth. Its teeth were not entirely flat. And it licked its lips at us, and it bent, and it made a noise, and it was so deep. Luckily, the 3 inches of bulletproof glass dulled the sound. yet the sound still penetrated through us and rippled our very core. And he could just lick its lips, and it made an expression of pretending to grab something in midair, and it pretended to rip it in half with its teeth. It flailed its tongue, and Trump said, I've had enough. For now, that is, but I'll come back. Now. And so the monorail continued. Trump said, Are we feeding this illegal alien? What's he eat? What's he on? Where's he go to the toilet? Yeah, I want to know. Tell me. Keep this monorail moving. Keep it moving. He's staying in a luxury hotel here. What's he paying us? So the monorail moved on, and the giant thing, 15 feet high, he jumped quite an athletic jump, surprisingly high, and his fingers just reached and touched the glass. To see the largeness of his fingers, just reaching up and touching the glass. Boom! Go! Get out of here! Trump said, What's all that? White blob stains on the glass on the inside? And the scientist said, Sir, that's its givings. It has removed its seed and thrown its seed upon the screen here. But now we're leaving this quarter. The monorail had shot off, carrying us forward onto a safer place. Right. I've seen enough of this. I've seen enough. Now, so we moved on, and we left the vicinity of that red-haired living giant where it was living, and it had many mattresses. It had a giant toilet, and it was fed plenty of food. It was fed like a sheep or a goat every day at least. Copious amount of water. It wasn't allowed any bones because it could make weapons from them. So we left these quarters and we went further down, and we carried on the monorail slowly down another tunnel. Trump said, Right, tell me everything we need to know about these giants. What language did they speak? Did they speak American? And the scientist said to him, Sir, as far as we can differentiate, they speak some kind of ancient Arabic dialect with guttural vocal sounds as well, sir. And Trump said, What did he eat? Well, they are humans, sir, just giants. They're omnivores like us. And who do they support? Do they support me? They're not aware that you're running for president or that you'll have any ambitions, sir. Right. Okay. So here we were, hearts aflutter, and we had just escaped that horrible sight of that great big red-headed, red-bearded, living Kandahar giant, the one that was captured alive and drugged and taken here to America and stored here in the deep in the depths under Area 51. And we felt so relieved and glad to be out of there. And our monorail journey continued down a deep tunnel. Another deep, dark tunnel, with just concrete to the left and concrete to the right. And here we could relax, and looking back, we felt safe. We didn't see any giant hand or anything. And the general of the army said to us and to Trump, he said, There you go, sir. Now you've seen it with your own eyes. These are not our friends. I repeat, sir, these are not our friends. Is there anything you wish to know? These are the unclassified documents for you to read. Okay, just tell me what they say. I'm not a reader. I've come here to lead, not to read. Trump was very inquisitive, and he said, "What else do we have down here in Area 51? Don't tell me. Do we have the true cross?" And the scientist actually said, "Well, actually, sir, we actually are analyzing what we think is the true cross now. For more unique bloodstains have been found on it." Trump said, "Ah, you mean like in the novel? The novel. Have you read that novel by Richard Allen? The one with the true cross. That novel." No, sir, I don't believe I have, but I think I know the book you're talking about. And yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book. It's all right. It's all right. It's not as good as Art of the Deal. Do you know what book you want to read? Art of the Deal. That's the real deal. Quite. Did you write that book yourself, sir? Well, no, I actually didn't write it. Someone wrote it for me 'cause I can't write. Now, apart from aliens and giants, what else have we got down here? And tell me about these giants of Kandahar. Tell me, are they good or are they bad? Just tell me. So the general spoke up. The commander general of the army spoke up on the monorail cabin with us. I was listening, and he said, "Sir, these are highly dangerous subspecies of indigenous giant human beings, sir." I'm listening. Go on. And I'm going to tell you, if you permit me, a tale of some of the incidents when our men, US soldiers, have encountered these Kandahar giants between 12 and 15 foot tall. And you will be amazed, sir, at the stories that I'm about to tell you about these Kandahar giants in Afghanistan. Oh, it sounds good. It sounds good. Go on, proceed. I'll sit here on the monorail and put my hands behind my head, and I might look like I'm sleeping, but it's all right. You keep on talking to me, 'cause I'm just relaxing, okay? Yes, sir, I will tell you everything if you like. Oh, I do like. And is that popcorn? And I need of a milkshake. But yes, I do like, so I heard it here first. So tell me, General Commander, everything I need to know about these giants, please. I just had an idea. Why don't we just give them a TV and get them to watch basketball in the NFL, and maybe we can put them in the league, the NBA or something. They'll do right. Better than that Shaquille O'Neal, eh? Yes, sir. We'll look into that for you, sir. Now, here are a list of cards. Donald, are you paying attention? Yeah, I'm paying attention. I'm on the monorail. I'm a kid. I'm enjoying myself. Okay, sir. Here are a list of other cards of possibilities that American can do. Here is Operation Tombstone. If you select it, here is another operation, Operation Fudge Packer. Oh, I like that one. I used to pack Melania's fudge in Disneyland. And Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, Melania makes me great fudge, and I just love eating it, and I just ate it. And she makes me great lemonade as well, and I have a shower in it. Sprite. I love showering Melania's lemonade. I love it. I miss her. Where is she? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a wonderful sight? Right here, down here in Area 51. Oh, we're travelling past these sites now, sir. But please pay attention. I'm the commanding officer. So firstly, these are a list of other cards of actions that you have to select one, and then we, as the American military, we can then take action upon your command. But first you must give us the lovely command, and then we can take action. Yeah, I understand. Carry on. I understand. Me. Here's Operation Blitzkrieg. Here's Operation... And on this card, there's a picture of... Here's Operation Poppy Doms. And here's Operation Opium. I like this one. That's Operation Fudge Packer, sir. Yeah, what is it? Well, basically, sir... basically, ISIS, even though they're very, very, very naughty people, very naughty, and very bad... they're not living underground, sir. The underground caverns are actually occupied by the 12 to 15 foot tall giants, sir, which stretches for thousands of miles under the peninsula. So, here are, on Operation Fudgepacker, which you have selected, sir, here are two of the main openings where these giants are known to come out of. And if you select a bomb, we may seal them in, sir. Yeah, could do. Tell me more. So what have these giants... Yeah, so tell me more. What have these giants actually done to our boys in Afghanistan? Well, sir, it was 2002 Afghanistan. Patrol had been taken out. We're missing many of our U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. So we sent some troops in on foot at the basin of a mountain top, sir, on the map. And as you can see on this card, that's where we sent them. We sent the troops to investigate, and they saw a lot of bones and clothes outside of the large cave entrance in the ready rocks of Kandahar. Okay, tell me more. Leave no detail out. On the ledge, sir, outside of the cave, and by the way, the cave, sir, had many caverns connecting to it. They went deep underground, sir. Outside of the cave was a ledge, and our troops had walked there through the desert, and they managed to get out and separate around the cave, and they were looking at the bones and things outside of the large cave entrance. The sun was beating down. They could hear something, and they thought maybe it's a bear or something, and all of a crikey, sudden, sir, something then, with long hairy white legs, runs out of the cave, sir, super fast, like a NFL linebacker, making a large rattling and noise and guttural noise, sir, goes, "Rah, rah!" Runs out of the cave, sir, and it comes out so quick, like lightning, and then, sir, they saw this big mass coming out of the big cave, and it was dark in the cave, and the sunlight was glazing on their eyes, and the heat of the midday Kandaharian sun was pouring sweat off the soldiers, and they had to brush their foreheads to wipe the sweat off, and they were pulling out the guns, and they had the best quality guns. They had the M4s, the 308s, and of course the American machine guns that we gave them, sir, the Barrett 50s, automatics. And they were shaking, and they didn't know what they were seeing, and they saw that very thing, you know, the one that we saw you touching before, the red-haired giant on the metal table, the first giant you saw, the dead one. That's the one that came out of the cave, sir, alive. And its teeth were gleaming and sharp, and it had 6 fingers on its hands, and it stood there, all 15 foot of it. And it took one big step out of the cave, and then it made this noise, a freaky noise, and the men were in shock, sir. They were terrified, shaking in their army boots, sir. Could you imagine it? It was there, and they were looking up at it, and it was like a big Tarzan thing with red hair, and because it was inbred, because it had been inbreeding, sir, it had 6 toes and 6 fingers, and its fingers were sharp and pointy because it was inbred, and it had a massive spear, sir, and it came at the American troops, sir, and it went, and the spear went through one of our men, sir, and he looked down at the spear going through his body, and the giant picked him up in one hand. He was holding the spear, and our troops did the best they could, sir. They opened fire, rapid fire dispersal. Ah, on me, on me! Down, down, down! Shoot, open fire! Go for the face, go for the face! And then it stood there, taking fire, rounds and machine gun fire to its body, did almost nothing, sir. And it looked at the troops as if we were broke, sir. And then the 15-foot red-headed giant, sir, it was like a quarterback. It came, its eyes were crazy like Bill Kazmaier's, and its red illustrious hair waving in the breeze, and its beard stronger than Arnold Schwarzenegger, sir. It held his arm up, holding that spear, with our soldier on the end of the spear. With one hand he held him into the sky towards the sun. And he carried on. He came at the other troop, sir, and he was... what type of spear was that? What do you mean, speared one of our troops? Do you mean like when I speared Vince McMahon? No, sir. I mean a real massive spear, sir. So I'll spear the hell out of Vince McMahon again, because that's what America wants. America wants me to get back in the ring with Vince McMahon. Well, he's got it. He's got it. He can kiss my ass. If Brock Lesnar wants me, I've got it. Bobby Lashley wants me, I'll give him a spear. I'm the best wrestler there is. Look at these hands, I'm the best wrestler there is. You know it. Sir, these are American troops we're talking about. Show some respect. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. Go on, tell me more. Okay, sir. Prepare yourself for what I'm about to tell you, sir. And please, stop looking at the sights here in Area 51. I'm trying to tell you something important. Okay. I've got a great attention span. So, sir, what I'm actually trying to tell you is that this giant that you saw on the metal table, the red-haired one, he actually held our troop up in the air on that skewer like a shish kebab. Oh my God. Save and bless them. God rest his soul. God bless his soul. God save us all. I'm gonna put a stop to this if I'm the Donald Duck. I'm gonna put a stop to this right and for all. We're gonna send them red-haired, inbred monkey giants straight back to hell. I choose Operation Fudgepacker. Very good, sir. We'll send them back to hell. Operation Fudgepacker, sir. You've selected the correct card. This card shows the two main entrances and exit points of the canyons in Kandahar, where the red-headed giants are known to go in and out of, sir. And they are cannibalistic, sir. They do eat U.S. troops. Oh my... Why didn't you tell me this earlier? Well, we just have, sir. This is disgraceful. What now? You're telling me this now? Right, that's it. I want that exit and entry points in Kandahar. I want them nuked. Sir, we can't do that, sir. Well, I want the biggest bombs dropping on them now. Sir, we have MOBs. Mother of all bombs. Mother of all bombs. Drop 2 of them on Kandahar, on them latitude and longitudes now. Yes, sir. Give that a direct command. We have a direct command. We have just received command to drop 2 mother of all bombs on the entry and exit points on latitude coordinates. I'm sending you over now. Yes, sir. Received. Sir, good news. The Giants' cave entrance and exits have been turned to rubble, and now the Giants are sealed in. Good work. That's why I'm the Donald. Another day's work complete for me. Now back to McDonald's, and I want... This popcorn's getting thin. I need to watch a movie. Got things to do. And last time I went to Disneyland, I need to tell you something about Disneyland. I took the kids and my imported wife to Disneyland. I saw Kerry, Clinton, and them folks, the crooked ones, going into Club 33, down the stairs, and Goofy was going in as well. They were with Goofy and Disney, and you know what? Me and Scrooge McDuck, we weren't allowed into Club 33, and I just want to know why that is, sir. I mean, General Commander. Sir, well, maybe it's because that Hillary Clinton and almost every president, apart from yourself and JFK, uh, were not Freemasons. They didn't have these secrets, and maybe that's because you're not a Freemason, sir. Maybe that's why you and Scrooge McDuck weren't allowed in. It all makes sense now. It's all coming into play. It's all coming together now. If anyone's gonna, what do you think, General? What do you think about these conspiracy clubs, like Club 33? Sir, I would only say this. Thank you for sharing, but if you're gonna mention any bit of this, also what you've heard today, you heard it here first. If you're gonna mention any part of this, you must also mention that you heard it here first at Conspiracy Club. Uh, yeah, and you know what? I had a good Tinkerbell at a right good time at Disneyland. Tinkerbell, all my family was safe and happy. Oh, wait a minute, I've got a phone call. I've got a text from Melania. Oh, it's just come through. Let me read it. Oh, by the way, can you tell me something crooked about Hillary Clinton, the classified information, sir, whilst we're down here? Uh, what's that? What's that? What's that? As we're going past on the monorail, what's that? Looks like NASA or something. What is it, General Commander? Well, that's Operation Fishbowl. Uh, Hillary Clinton, it was her plan, Operation Fishbowl, to break the glass dome, one of the glass domes over the world, so she could get into paradise. Oh, that's the only way she's going to get into paradise, I think so. Don't you? Well, sir, she and her cronies um, are planning to break through the fishbowl and get into paradise. I have some fish, some small blue tropical fish at home, very rare, very rare. I've got more money than you. Yes, sir. Sir, do you not want to continue? Oh, Melania, needs to see me now. Stop this monorail. I need to get off. Sir. But sir, the tour's not finished yet. We've got miles to go. And sir, do you not want to continue the tour of Area 51 whilst we're down here? We have so much more to show you. We have we'll be coming up shortly to the Nazi UFOs, Hitler's UFOs, and our time machine is almost operational, sir. No, you have to stop the tour now. I can't see any more of Area 51 at the minute. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Melania's just texted me. She wants me now. It's her time of the month. Need to go and see her now. Stop this monorail now. Okay, sir, stop the monorail. The scientists in the monorail, they looked at each other, and they had been making notes on the intelligence of Donald Trump, of the experiments and things. And they mentioned to us, when they put the handbrake just now on the monorail, they said, Sirs, well, thank you for this short tour. Sorry we couldn't explain to you and show you the UFOs and this inside of the spacecrafts and the various aliens and different things beyond the ice walls and other things today, sir. But perhaps another time, sir. Perhaps. Melania's just called me. She's the boss, so I need to go now. Okay, sir. We've stopped here, and there is a lift, and it will take you up 50 floors to the surface, sir. Okay, press the button for me. I'll press it, sir. Bing. Bing, 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 bing. Getting in the lift now. Okay, we're getting in the lift now. Sir. Go into the surface. I've got a lift like this in Trump Tower. How long's this lift? My God, this lift's so deep into the ground, it's like longer than the lift in that book by Richard Allen. Ding. Well, well, I just want to say, sir, you've made the fantastic decision of destroying them, of barricading them, red-haired giants, where they belong, sir, deep, deep underground. You've done a fantastic job. I know, and I'm so proud that I've given the order to drop the mother of all bombs on them giants, on the entrance to them giants. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Oh, and by the way, before I get off this lift, you might as well tell me, is there any more giants anywhere? Yes, sir, there is. There have been reportings of giants, even here in America. What? What? You didn't tell me this before? There's so much I don't know. So much I don't know that I don't know. Tell me more. Well, maybe later, sir. No, normally our troops are bagging pesky Sasquatch. They're real? Are you joking me? A Sasquatch really real? Well, I don't know if I believe in them, sir, but the American government does. Last mission, we bagged a live Sasquatch species alive, and one of them's here in our Area 51, but we also have other areas here in America underground where we keep different specimens and different things, sir. Of course we do. But sadly for you, my friend, unlike those classified missions, this will be no romantic stroll in the park. This is going to be scary. I wonder if I tell the people what really happened here. Don't. They will only laugh at you. They are like sheep, indoctrinated sheep in the Matrix. They only believe in CNN and what they are, and the tribe that they are forced to swallow as children. So here you have seen today many things which you will not see on the news, sir. Yeah, I know. There's many things I've seen today. I've seen enough. So we've just got news that in Ohio there's been a pesky Sasquatch victimizing some people. What should we do, sir? Send in the special troops. That'll be for another time. And tell me the full report of what happens. I gotta know. I've gotta see this Sasquatch for myself. But I do recall, I am a scientist, sir, and let me tell you, sir, it's been a pleasure having you here today in Area 51, and I must tell you the truth that these giants, they are giant humans. They are not Sasquatch. Sasquatch are a total monkey species, and these giants from Kandahar, they are a total human species. And much more dangerous than Sasquatch, in my personal, professional opinion, sir. So it's been great having you here today, sir, and we hope to have you back very, very soon. I'll be back. Don't worry. I'll be back. So thank you for listening to my little crappy stories, and thank you for liking them. The more you like them, the more I like doing them. And thank you for today's little story. I hope it hasn't bored you to death. But where do you want to know? How am I getting? You probably want to know, why is Conspiracy Club getting all this information first before anyone else? Now, if you are working at Area 51 and you're saying, oh, who leaked this information to Conspiracy Club? Don't worry. I'm just here to say that no one leaked this information from Area 51 to me. And I also wanted to make a disclaimer that if anyone uses any of this information on Conspiracy Club in any of their talks and things, I'd just like you to give a shout out that you got this information first from Conspiracy Club. Thank you, and you stay classy. And peace be upon them soldiers. They were good soldiers. And may they rest in peace. Thank you so much for listening. My cupboard, little bit about me. My cupboard and fridge is nearly empty. Just to clarify, the last thing I want is the FBI asking me how I got this information. I don't want the scientists who work at Area 51 to be questioned on which one of them leaked this information to me, which is so yeah, I don't want any scientist at Area 51 to be questioned or interrogated as to which one of them leaked this information to me first, because this is the first place you're going to hear about this information is on this channel, and well, specifically. And in my opinion, which is the best conspiracy club? Well, what is the purpose of these secret society clubs like the Freemasons, Illuminati, and so on and so forth? The purpose of them is many-fold, like the Young President's Club and Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and all these things. The Club 33, the Freemasons. What is the purpose of these clubs? These conspiracy clubs is to so you can rub shoulders with the people of influence and affluence. That's the purpose of them. And in my personal opinion, I personally recommend Global Information Network. I'll leave the link in the description. Please be gentle with me. The reason I'm doing all this is because people buy Nike trainers for £100, and I've never done that in my life. My shoes come from Primark for £7, £6, and that's why I'm doing this. So be kind, please, and sleep tight. By the by, the African novel by Richard Allen, the action novel on the whereabouts and location of the True Cross and many interesting things, won't be out till after Christmas. So if you're interested in this very interesting novel that's coming soon, if you read, and reading is very good for you, good for the imagination and the working of the mind, then do come back to this channel in about 3-4 months from now. If you subscribe, you can come back to it, or save it, like it, whatever. And I do hope you enjoy the novel, and thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you, sir. He's my good friend, so stay kind and let me know if this should be on Saturday Night Live.